Good evening, guys. Welcome to our first show in Deccan Wazicha. I welcome you. हम आज लाइव हैं और हमारे साथ हैं शोएब सैयद और अली सैयद और हमारे शोएब हैं वो स्टूडेंट हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में और जॉब भी कर रहे हैं, तालिब इल्म हैं और अली सैयद जॉब कर रहे हैं। तो आप लोग अपने बारे में कुछ इंट्रोडक्शन दीजिए। We can start with Shoaib, while I can put myself on mute.
Yes, तो मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहता हूँ। I was a student here till last year, और अब मैं सेल्स की जॉब कर रहा हूँ, which is a bit different to what I studied. लेकिन I have experiences in like a lot of different areas. और मैं जब इंडिया से आया, I was a different person and living here for the last 4 years. This is a different world. So I think we can talk about that a little bit.
Definitely we'll roll to it. Ali.
Yo, hello guys, मेरा नाम अली है.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
शोएब का मेरे को बैकग्राउंड बहुत अच्छा दिखा, almost like he's in Bahamas.
Oh, thank you. I actually am.
I actually had the similar filter. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just default. लेकिन फिर मैं चेंज कर दिया, बोला कि चलो ठीक है जैसा है.
Pretty good, nice.
Ali, go ahead with your introduction, please.
Yes, मैं यहाँ पे actually studies कर रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे स्कूल से पढ़ा हुआ हूँ मैं, और उसके बाद अब मैं full time job कर रहा हूँ गवर्नमेंट के वास्ते, और this is going to be exciting, man.
Yeah, this is our first show.
PG podcast.
I hope that with our information that we share, बहुत सारे लोगों को हेल्प होगा. और दूसरी बात ये कि मैं अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस कर दूं, नवीद सैयद, और मैं भी ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मुकीम हूँ. तकरीबन 15 साल से ज़्यादा हो गया मुझे यहाँ पर. मुख्तलिफ जॉब किया मैंने डिफरेंट फील्ड्स में, और फिल वक्त फाइनेंस में काम कर रहा हूँ, एज केयर रिलेटेड कंपनी में. तो और मेरे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं अली सैयद और शोएब सैयद, और हम लोग बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात करने वाले हैं. ये हमारा एक पास टाइम है, एक काइंड ऑफ लाइक हॉबी. वी नॉर्मली कम टुगेदर एंड डिस्कस लॉट ऑफ स्टफ. तो हम लोगों ने सोचा कि क्यों ना हम ये बात लाइव करते हैं, तो इससे कुछ और लोग भी इस्तेफादा उठा सकते हैं हमारी बातों का. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट्स जस्ट गुड हॉबी, आई मस्ट एडमिट. तो आज का मौजू क्या है शोएब साहब?
I think हम बात कर सकते हैं कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हमारे कि जो लोग आते हैं, like क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन से आते हैं और like रियलिटी इतनी डिफरेंट होती है. बिकॉज सब लोगों को तो पता तो होता है, like पता होता है कि ऐसा ऐसा होता है, बट आई डोंट थिंक यू कैन एक्सपीरियंस इट टिल यू एक्सपीरियंस इट, राइट? यू हैव टू एक्चुअली बी देयर.
डेफिनेटली ये बहुत अच्छा इंपॉर्टेंट मौजू है, क्योंकि आप यहाँ पर आपने पढ़ाई की है और आप यहाँ पर काफी स्ट्रगल भी किया है आपने. तो आपके एक्सपीरियंस से जो लोग यहाँ पर ऑस्ट्रेलिया आना चाहते हैं स्टूडेंट वीजे पे या जो भी, उनको भी थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में आइडिया आ जाएगा. Guys, let me remind you that this is an interactive session, so it's, casual. You don't have to be like really uptight. So just relax.
Just to start off.
Yeah, go ahead.
मेरे एक फेवरेट कॉमेडियन का एक वो है लाइन है इसके ऊपर. People back in India who are well off have maids and drivers for themselves. They come overseas to do their job.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Would you like to explain that?
I mean, obviously, ये jobs जो है इंडिया में करना is very different compared to doing it here, but literally it's the same thing that you do, just for an extra buck. मगर वो जो काम है, which is not so respectable, you can say. वो यहाँ पे आने के बाद थोड़ा ideally उसको थोड़ा अलग नजरिए से देखते, मगर you're basically doing that.
They're basically doing the same thing, लेकिन you earn more respect. I mean, people look upon you as you're doing something which is respectable, rather than which you go back home and then do the same thing. You wouldn't have the similar values. आपको इतना ज़्यादा इसको appreciate नहीं किया जाता अपने back home. Is that what you're trying to say?
True.
I get it. Now, it's just I can give you an example. Like, here in Australia, you can see a lot of people. बहुत सारे लोग सिक्योरिटी इंडस्ट्री में काम करते हैं यहाँ पर, और ये बात कोई मायूब नहीं माना जाता. मतलब ये कि आपको बड़े बड़े फर्म्स हायर करते हैं और आपको you're called a security officer, और आपका जो रिस्पेक्ट है यहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा, आपका अपना ऑफिस होता है और यू नो यू आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू बी एजुकेटेड, और आपकी प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग होती है, रिगरस ट्रेनिंग होती है, एंड देन वही चीज़ अगर आप बैक होम जाएंगे, डेफिनेटली यू आर फ्रॉम इंडिया, सो विल टॉक अबाउट दैट एरिया, वहाँ पर ये चीज़ को उतना अहमियत नहीं दिया जाता, मतलब ये कि उतनी रिस्पेक्ट नहीं होती उसकी जो फील्ड की। चलिए आप अगर सिक्योरिटी में काम कर रहे हैं तो लोग अच्छे तक, लेकिन ये तो फिर वहीं पर चली जाती है ना बात, जो हमारे यहाँ जो कास्ट सिस्टम से जो सदियों से चली आ रही है, अभी तक हमारे समाज में ये सारी चीजें हैं अभी, तो उसके अंदर ये
वन थिंग में इसमें जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग मेरे को दिखता इज दैट दिस जस्ट नॉट लिमिटेड टू पीपल जो इंडिया में है, यहाँ पे भी जो लोग आके जो काम करके जाते हैं, आप रियलाइज उन लोगों का जो नजरिया है इज स्टिल वेरी हिपोक्रिटिकल जब इंडिया में जाने के बाद हम ये जॉब्स के लोग पोजीशन पे देखते हैं।
अच्छा, या ये गलत पॉइंट है। तो शोएब साहब, आप फरमाइए कि आप जब यहाँ पर आए थे तो आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे हैदराबाद में जब आप थे कि यू नो जब आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया आएंगे तो कैसा रहेगा, और जो आपने जो विजन या आपने जो अपने दिमाग में सोचा हुआ था, क्या वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया उसके ऊपर खरा उतरा?
सो आने से पहले ऑब्वियसली मेरे को बहुत सारे एडवाइसेस मिले थे कि लाइक ये मेंटालिटी रखनी चाहिए जब ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाते हैं, राइट, अलग अलग किस्म की जॉब करनी पड़ती हैं। तो द बिगेस्ट टेक अवे दैट आई गॉट, जो आई थिंक बहुत रेलेवेंट था मेरे वास्ते, so for my the time I was working while I was a student, ईगो खत्म हो जाना चाहिए, बिकॉज आई थिंक हमारा ईगो बहुत बड़ा होता है, जो खासतौर से हैदराबाद में भी अब ब्रॉट अप, वी आर लाइक स्पून फेड, हाथ से खाना खाते हैं हमारे मम्मी डैडी के अंदर। तो लाइक घर के काम वगैरह नहीं करने की जो आदत है, स्पेशली हमारे कल्चर में बहुत तकरीबन घरानों में होती है, एंड देन वही काम यहाँ पे आके जब करना पड़ता है, आई थिंक ईगो बीच में आ जाता है कि लाइक मैं ये घर आने का हूँ, और मैं लाइक हमारे घर में ऐसा होता था, मैं मेरी प्लेट नहीं धोता था, यहाँ पे आके प्लेट धोनी पड़ रही है लोगों की भी।
जाहिर सी बात है,
द बिगेस्ट थिंग इज लाइक ईगो, आई थिंक ईगो खत्म करना होता है।
सही,
like you have to kill it,
you need to shed your ego before you take that first flight. Definitely.
Yes, it's like a different life then.
Definitely. तो फिर यहाँ पर आने के बाद में आपको कैसे लगा कि चलो ठीक है, ईगो के हद तक तो ठीक है, लेकिन आपने क्या सोचा था ऑस्ट्रेलिया के बारे में कि मतलब ये कि did you think that it's going to be things are going to be presented to you in golden plate, or you had some idea that it's
well, I was always optimistic. Right, but I think that helped me. Like even though the first month I was here, I didn't have a job. I was like, okay, this is very normal. But once I start getting job, I'm gonna start making money. Right? Like, and obviously I didn't start making money once I had job, because like utne hours milte nahi the pehle. But I was always optimistic, right? And
you always believed in yourself. That you had confidence that you know.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna get through this. And then जब मेरा मास्टर्स खत्म हुआ, like मेरा 2 साल का मास्टर्स था, I did it in a year and a half, which is the opposite of what most people do, right? They try to extend their studies because once you are on TR, you are on, अब आपकी वो शुरू हो जाती है, like आप रेस में हो, now you're racing against time for your PR, you only have a limited amount of time,
right?
But I finished it early, and then I have been working hard since then. I'm not gonna tell that I'm on my best position, but obviously I'm still optimistic, and things have worked out for me in the past because of this attitude. And I think that will continue in the future.
Definitely.
No, I agree with you, Shubhi. Your attitude, especially being optimistic, whilst you are also very self-aware. ये दो चीज़ें जो है ना, ये opportunities बहुत ज़्यादा खोलते रहते हैं अपने वास्ते, like to not just be like a student or job के लिहाज से, मगर everything in life. कि अगर आप अपने आप को देख लें कि you can achieve it, then eventually you might not achieve it, मगर you will come very close.
Positive attitude and self-awareness.
This is saying that you miss 100% of the chances you never take.
Definitely, I agree with you. Now, Shoaib साहब, now just because अभी ये है कि हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो अभी कोविड खुला है, कोविड की वजह से जो फ्लाइट्स बंद है और सारे यहाँ आना चाहते हैं, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि दिस टॉपिक इज गोइंग टू बी लाइक रियली हेल्पफुल इन द सेंस कि आप बता सकते हैं कि भाई ये क्या होगा अभी जो कोविड खत्म हुआ है और अभी फ्लाइट शुरू हुई है, तो डू यू थिंक देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ लॉट ऑफ पुश इन स्टूडेंट्स coming to Australia, a boost maybe perhaps?
Yes, I think हम लोग already देख रहे हैं कि like most of the countries they want people to start traveling again. Tourists को बुलाना शुरू कर रहे हैं वो. They also want the students coming in because as long as there are people coming into the countries, economy flow होती रहेगी. Like बाहर का पैसा अंदर आ रहा है. And I think Australia makes a lot of money like that with students. So
I think
Australia में push होगा. Yes, it is. Like it was the second biggest when I came. I think they were still making pretty good on coal. And now it is the biggest. Like उनके students का देख के the projection is even going higher every year because there's only 3 countries where you can actually settle, right? एक ऑस्ट्रेलिया है और एक कनाडा है और एक न्यूजीलैंड है. Like जो हम लोग जो countries को देखते हैं कि like the third world countries where you can settle, the 3 biggest are these countries. और यहाँ पे settle हो सकते हैं like UK and America. You can still go there. There is plenty of opportunity. It's just you're never going to settle there. Like I mean, you can still. It's like a very uphill battle.
I think the immigration part is like pretty different and difficult in these countries.
Like motivation मिलता है यहाँ पे. Like I think a lot of reason people come here is because like future में PR मिलेगा, right? That's the biggest motivation of coming to Australia. All going to Canada. America is just opportunity, man.
True that. Now let me ask you this. So जो preliminary जो आपके एक्टिविटीज होते हैं for someone who wants to come here on student visa, उसमें क्या क्या चीजें होनी चाहिए? मतलब ये कि if you were to have a checklist, what would you put in that just so that मतलब ये कि क्या करना चाहिए? First of all, funds है या किसी एजेंट कोई ऐसा एजेंट है हैदराबाद में जहाँ पर आप अप्रोच कर सकते हैं जो रिलायबल है या आप खुद से कर सकते हैं? क्या प्रोसेस है? थोड़ा सा आप 1-2 मिनट इस बारे में बताइए.
Well, everybody is different. Like obviously, आप कौन से कॉलेज को जाना चाह रहे is very important deciding that because बहुत सारे एजेंट्स का टाई अप होता है बहुत सारे यूनिस से, and then they will persuade you to go to that uni, right? वो आपको advantages दिखाएंगे and they'll pretty much convince you, right? Because आप मान लोगे बाद में because that guy is an expert. So I think खुद की research करना is more important. Like decide where you want to go और कहाँ पे पढ़ना आपके लिए बेहतर हो सकता है because आजकल रीजनल में पढ़ना is very beneficial. You get a few extra points for your PR. But बहुत सारे tie-ups जो होते हैं और बहुत सारे यूनिक सिटीज में होती हैं तो आपको आपका एजेंट वहाँ पे भेजने के लिए इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता है. So yeah, like have a plan out. Like PR का
मतलब ये कि जो ट्रेंड चलते आ रहा था कि लोग जब भी जाना चाहते थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया तो वो लोग देखेंगे कि भाई मेलबर्न में क्या कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटीज है, सिटी में कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटीज है या आप देखेंगे कि भाई तो ये जो रश है ब्रिस्बेन, तो ये जो रश है rather than being in the main cities, if they were to be looking into some regional universities, they might not be like so popular or number one and all that, but still the better chances for immigration wise.
Yes, obviously, yeah, cities saturated हो रहे, like there's a lot of people coming in now, and the biggest reason is यहाँ पे opportunities भी ज़्यादा रहती है. Like it is very easy to get a job in the city. Right? Most of the लोग suburbs में जो रहते हैं cities को जाके काम करते हैं. So I think the biggest reason of the government pushing people to the outer suburbs and the regional parts is कि वहाँ पे they want people to be living there. They want like more opportunities वहाँ पे, like people वहाँ पे businesses खोलें, वहाँ पे रहना शुरू करें. And that makes sense. और उनको reward करती है government by giving them a few extra points for their PR. And you don't have to stay as long. आपको 1 साल यहाँ पे नहीं रहना पड़ेगा. Like थोड़े suburbs, थोड़े regionals में, like you can stay there for 3 months and then you'll get the points जो आपको थोड़े जगह पे 1 साल रहने पे भी नहीं मिलता.
That's a very valid point here. Now Ali, would you like to add something on that line?
My experience उसके ऊपर जो है बहुत कम है जी. So I'm actually
in a general idea मतलब ये क्या that's fine. We will come. We can always come back to you. I mean, with real questions relevant to your area of expertise.
Now, the only thing जो मैं देखा था ना उसके ऊपर, and I can see like a lot of students coming और उनके plans के हिसाब से जो यहाँ पे real estate बन रहा था ना, and I can the first thing that came to my head was man traffic. क्योंकि I can see कि कितने ज़्यादा जने यहाँ पे आने वाले हैं, which is actually good. Not just for them, हमारे वास्ते भी बहुत अच्छा है to basically grow. बहुत limited यहाँ पे population है, but at the same time, yes man, it's going to be very
गाइस अभी रमजान आने वाला है, रमजान या रमजान, you know, like back home, रमजान की और ईद की एक अलग ही रंग रलियां होती हैं, एक अलग सा माहौल होता है, यानी कि खासतौर पे रमजान में आप देखिए हलीम हर जगह और एक सिस्टम होता है, लेकिन यहाँ पर ना रमजान का भरपूर मजा आता है ना ईद का। आप लोगों के क्या ख्याल है इस बारे में? Ali can go first. Ali can go first.
So I was trying to unmute. Yes, I agree with you 100%. मेरा जो भी यहाँ पे एक्सपीरियंस है रमजान का ईद का was not as fun जैसा मैं इंडिया में हैदराबाद में एंजॉय करता था। फैमिली से मिलना और I don't know, एक माइंडसेट रहता जो आपको बहुत लिबरेट करता था ये फेस्टिवल्स को एंजॉय करने के वास्ते। और आई थिंक वो माहौल भी जो रहता ना लोगों का, इट मेक्स इट लाइक इवन बेटर। स्पेशली रमजान में रात भर दुकाना खुले थे और आई थिंक ये एक्सपीरियंसेस वो अलग है। यहाँ पे we do this same thing, but it's just that it's an added pressure that everyone has to go to work right now.
You can see the same glamour in Christmas.
Yes.
You know, it's Sara Mahina lights, you know, lights, camera action. Every house has got lights on it and all that. But yeah, definitely there's cultural difference. But however, the only thing is that कि यहाँ पर ईद का माहौल जो होता है, जैसे हमारे यहाँ ईद में लेके हम प्रॉपर ऑफिशियल छुट्टी होती है, हम घर घर जाते हैं, रिश्तेदारों से मिलते हैं, लोग आते हैं, ईद ही है, शीर कोरमा बटरा एंड ऑल दैट। लेकिन यहाँ पर उस तरह का माहौल थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है। मतलब ये कि आप ईद के दिन भी आप उठते हैं, एक दूसरे को ग्रीट करते हैं एंड ऑल दैट, एंड देन यू गो बैक टू ऑफिस।
Not enough people, man. लोग कम है।
Do you think that's what it is?
I think there had been a motion wherein the government, some local bodies try to approach Australian government and said, look, हम लोग यहाँ पर इतने सारे लोग हैं, and then we would like you to declare it as a public holiday. So they were kind of like they were inclined towards doing it, but what happened was they said, guys, you need to make up your mind. I mean, यहाँ पर कोई मतलब एक आपका कोई specific दिन नहीं है इसका. Some people they just want to go after the chance fighting, and some people, so there wasn't like a definite date. Like Christmas है, तो वो Christmas का एक दिन है जिसके पर वो कर लेते हैं. लेकिन यहाँ पर ऐसा नहीं. तो मुख्तलिफ we could not come to the table with one point, one decision.
So what were they trying to do? Make Eid a public holiday for everyone?
Yeah, make it. It's not just public holiday. That see, in order for us to take leave, in such scenarios, we have to do annual leave or sick leave, whatever. Sick leave is not going to be a viable option, obviously, because you cannot sick. But again, if it's at least if it's optional to say that okay, Eid hai, and yeah, they can take a leave, so it would be easier. If not a public holiday, then at least it would be easier, because there would be something in the, official from the government, so we know that it's holiday.
So by law, ऐसा रहता कि if you're of a specific religion, you're allowed to take the day off, regardless of providing a reason. I mean, if you get an annual leave.
Yeah, definitely in that plan. Now, Ali, let me come back to you. For what I know about you, you have been a really hard-working person. You started your life very early on. I must say, how old were you? Like 13 years old?
13 years.
Yeah. So back home, like in India, even when a child is like 19, 20, they are still been looked after by the parents. They don't have the urge to do anything. But you started early on. So what was your and then you're still working. You never quit. And at the same time, you were going to school and then you were working. So what was your motivation behind it? Like that kept you going?
It wasn't like finances. I have to work or anything. It was just like मेरे दोस्त कर रहे थे. So I wanted to be a part of that group and really feel that I'm big and I'm earning.
Sense of responsibility,
guys, like an adult.
Yeah, and then the freedom to do whatever you want to do. Like you got your own money, you can spend however you want to. वो एक फैक्टर है. तो अभी भी आप गवर्नमेंट के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. So how is that journey?
So employment जो है गवर्नमेंट या फिर नॉर्मल भी, everyone's gonna work for the entirety of their life. वो एक चीज given है, but at the same time वो एज से लेके अब तक one thing that I've been very thankful for is जॉब के ऊपर खाली मैं काम करने के वास्ते काम नहीं करता हूँ. It's always been very entertaining, और especially with मेरे तरफ में जो लोग रहते हैं, they've always been very like-minded. तो लोगों के साथ काम करने में भी मजा आता. तो यहाँ पे एक चीज जो शोभे भी पहले बोला था about optimism, अगर आप वो open mind से आप किसी भी जॉब के ऊपर जा रहे हैं यहाँ पे, then I think you will somehow find entertainment and make it useful for yourself.
Right.
It's just be optimistic कि भाई यहाँ पे अगर मैं ये पोजीशन में एक बार आ गया, then what's the best I can do to basically entertain myself और अपनी जॉब के अंदर थोड़ा मजा ले लेके आके अपना जो टाइम गुजारने का है वो अगर आप गुजार लें.
Now you have.
I think Ali is like the best person to talk about it because he's worked in hospitality. बहुत सारे लोग अपने बंदे आके पहले यहाँ पे hospitality का काम शुरू करते हैं, like kitchen में वगैरह. उसके बाद warehouse फैक्ट्री में promotion होता है उन लोगों का, and then they start making उनके hourly घंटों पे अच्छे पैसे मिलते हैं लोगों को, they start making 32, 35, right? And then उसके बाद जब TR वगैरह आता है, working rights आते हैं, फिर corporate हो जाते हैं.
Right.
Then I think Ali has done it all. He started with hospitality, he's done the warehouse thing, and now he's doing corporate. I think this works for everyone. अपन तीनों भी have a similar experience.
Now Ali के साथ थोड़ा सा interesting ये रहा कि when he started working for the government, his journey is a bit funny. I must admit that he did not have any clue and all that, but he got job luckily.
Yes.
And then he would just go on. He had no clue as to how things work and all that. Obviously, like they were going to train him, but on the same time, he was too hesitant to admit that he knows shit. So what he was doing is like everything. Do you know this? Yes. And how was the journey, Ali? Would you like?
How you get a job?
That's actually so true. Yeah. Like for example, it was you who said कि I can do it. Because मेरे पास corporate का बिल्कुल भी experience नहीं था, and I was like, अरे लोग क्या करते? Like, what's the job? I had literally zero idea about that. So when I got into it, they asked me in the interview, do you know how to do all this? I was like, yeah, sure, I know how to do it.
So you basically like, you were like you had like a can-do attitude. You knew that you were gonna.
Because मेरे को basic computer knowledge तो थी, but I thought to myself कि how much different it's going to be. जो भी उन्होंने products के नाम ले रहे थे, like Rio बोल के बोल रहे थे, that was very limited to just them.
Yeah.
Would you think you'd be able to use it? Like easy, I can. उसके बाद मैं जब गया,
with the confidence.
उसके बाद मैं जब गया on the training day, there was this guy I was paired with, and he knew everything, right? But he was lacking confidence. He knew it, lacking confidence. I knew nothing, but
you had the key. You had the key, and he had the lock.
No, it became very good. Like.
So you, उससे आप help हुआ आपकी दोस्त.
That guy would do it, and then I would learn, and then I was a very quick learner. क्योंकि अगर आप वो environment में कर रहे हैं, then you don't know much, but you want to get the job.
Right.
तो फिर आप वो चीज के ऊपर concentrate करके you start caring about it, and you learn it really well, and that's how I managed to like sustain that position.
Like what a promotion, man! Like working in warehouse to like working for the government.
Yeah, man. He was working for warehouse. You know, he was working for warehouse. He was making pretty decent money, I must admit. He was pretty happy.
Money was good.
But the thing is, like, you know, he had more to do in his life. I mean, okay, जो वो कर रहे थे काम, उसके अंदर तो वो था कि money was okay, but at the end of the day, what would you want to change? So, I mean, I think he did the right thing. He made the right decision. Now he's
of course, yes.
Now he's soaring. Okay, and now you're managing as well, right? Are you a manager now, right?
Yes.
Started off as,
yes.
Yeah, that's right. So
our position is called senior registry officer. So I do currently I'm looking up like 12 people in my team. So anything that they have related to work, rostering, absences, and all of that.
Maybe we can discuss that sometime. Like, you know how बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो अपना नाम change करना चाहते हैं, marriage certificate and all that. Maybe we can have a separate session on that where we can facilitate
how to do it properly.
Yeah, how to do it properly, where to go, what to do, what forms you need, and all that. So that we can give us some time for that as well. Now, guys, let me ask you this. Okay, अभी यहाँ पर Ali, I'm back to you again. जो बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं कि they lack confidence. Like यहाँ पर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हैं, they have permits, they have full working rights and also everything. But again, they lack some kind of confidence to get into the market of this office world. So do you have any suggestions for them, those kind of people?
People who lack confidence,
I mean they lack confidence. They just हमारा तो नहीं होने वाला भाई, हम कहाँ पर हमारा, especially people who are like migrants who have come here from different world. They have just finished their education. They have full work right, but again, to do what you have done, they were like, "Arey yaar, हमारा तो." I mean, there are many people who are like optimistic and all that, but still, like at some area they might be lacking confidence. So, can you talk about it?
पहले आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना बहुत जरूरी है. Why you lacking confidence? Do you have self doubt or is it because के external factors?
There could be many things like English or getting along with people. Someone might have been working in a pizza shop, and so this is like a totally different environment. And you went through that, so you would be the best person to shift from.
So like lacking English या फिर work experience आपको नहीं है, ये सब चीजें जो है ना, मेरे हिसाब से दो फैक्टर्स है. एक तो ये अगर आप इंग्लिश में लैक करें तो आर यू वरीड अबाउट कि भाई मैं बोला तो मेरे को इंटरनली बहुत बुरा दिख रहा है, या फिर आर यू वरीड कि जो सामने वाला है उसका ओपिनियन मेरे बारे में क्या होगा. अगर आपका इंटरनल है देन यू कैन डेफिनेटली वर्क ऑन दैट थ्रू लाइक मेडिटेशन या फिर इज बेसिकली विजुअलाइजेशन और टेक्निक से अपने ऊपर. बट इफ यू केयर टू मच अबाउट एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स, उसके ऊपर भी आप काम कर सकते हैं. बट you just have to stop caring about people to basically gain confidence about what they think about you.
Right. So coming back to you, so those kids who come from India who have had a golden spoon, they were given everything. The parents would look after them. They would do whatever they want to do. So they come here, and then you said that they would have to leave with ego. Okay, so that's basically the psychological part of it, that leaving ego. It's harder saying than done. What would be the criteria that you would use? Actually, you had used to overcome that ego.
I mean, it's just if the money is good, then I don't think ego matters anymore. Like, just focus on the money, right? Be money oriented. Like, turn your life around. Just think about the money, how much you're making, how much you want to make, how you can make it. The opportunities will come. You have to be money oriented because everything is expensive in Australia. Yeah, so that helps. If the money is good, I don't mind doing it.
So would you encourage अभी जो लोग आना चाह रहे हैं यहाँ पर, would you encourage them to come, and then you think it's a great opportunity? But still, there is a lot of room in Australia for students.
Yes, of course.
Encourage them. So
it's the best country, yeah. Like I think balance जो है ना ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, क्योंकि अपनी community भी है अभी and still growing. And even if आप community से बहुत close है आपके इंडिया में, you can still find good people here जो आपके community belong करते हैं. Doesn't matter कहाँ से आ रहे हो आप. And the best thing is opportunity to settle and opportunity to in a first world country. I think Australia and Canada are the ideals right now. Like either one, pretty good.
Okay, guys, I want to talk about something like very important.
Before we finish this topic, I just
go ahead.
want you to continue about your experience about the same thing. Because आप भी I think student बन के अमेरिका गए.
Oh, you talking to me? I thought you were just dragging it along.
No.
Guys, काफी हद तक मैं शोएब से मुत्तफिक हूँ बहुत सारे मामलात में. I had started my career in a long time ago, and that was in America. Or it was very challenging because I was living in a shell back home in Hyderabad. As you said, Shoaib, that we had all the opportunities that we needed. Our life was so easy, so I had to go to America like many other thousands and millions of kids and start my life. And I wasn't ready for it. I'm going to be honest with you. I was having difficulty on each and every aspect of my life. I just wanted to go back home. I just wanted to leave everything, and it was such a melodrama, in my life. The food was the biggest thing. I was used to having Hyderabadi food a lot, and then that component was missing. And other people had no issues. They kanda kar liye, roti dal liye, bread se kha liye. Khana was not a big issue for them. लेकिन मेरे लिए unfortunately था. तो मैं बहुत struggle करता था उस चीज के अंदर. And again, new life. And again, how Ali and Shoaib, both of you said confidence. तो ये तो था कि शोएब, आई मीन यू एटलीस्ट हैड सम पीपल फॉर यू लाइक योर फ्रेंड्स एंड योर फैमिली, तो फिर भी एक थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस तो होता है कि चलो कुछ ना हो तो एटलीस्ट दे आर हियर, आई कैन जस्ट प्ले विद देम, एंजॉय। मेरे साथ वैसा नहीं था, आई वाज जस्ट अलोन बाय मायसेल्फ, पर धीरे धीरे यू गेट यूज्ड टू इट। एंड देन एक चीज मैं ये बिलीव करता हूँ कि यू नो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे कुछ तो कुछ हो जाएगा आपका, यू नो ऐसे आपके साथ मौकूफ आ जाते हैं, आपकी जिंदगी में एक ऐसा मोड़ आ जाता है कि यू नो द थिंग्स दैट यू वांट विल स्टार्ट हैपनिंग टू यू। दैट्स द ब्यूटी ऑफ नेचर, आई मस्ट एडमिट। यू नो अभी तो ऐसे हुआ मेरे साथ, धीरे धीरे जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज आ गए एंड ऑल दैट, एंड अगेन आई एम गोइंग बैक टू व्हाट यू सेड, मनी। यू नो जब हरी हरी नोटें आने शुरू हुए तो मतलब ये कि ऑब्वियसली यू नो थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट आ गया। देन या एजुकेशन वाइज, एजुकेशन सिस्टम के ऊपर बोलना चाहूंगा मैं, ये बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट एक टॉपिक है क्योंकि अली ने छेड़ा है। मैं बताता चलूं कि देखो भाई, वहाँ का जो सिस्टम है इंडिया का, एटलीस्ट जब मैं पढ़ रहा था वहाँ का सिस्टम था रट्टी मारो, एंड फॉर सम रीजन आई वाज़न्ट गुड इन रट्टी मारना। रट्टी मारना मतलब ये कि जो बाय हार्ट कर लेते हैं ना, वो मैं उसमें खराब था। दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज अ वेरी बैड स्टूडेंट, because the thing is like you know whether you understand the concept or not, you simply just by hearting it, and again if someone is not good at that, obviously he's going to be a bad student. But again when I came to America and when I started my education, it was a different world, and everything was making sense. They were discussing concepts rather than रट्टी मारना, and then once you have understood the concept you can write it in your own words. तो ऐसे जैसे कि मेरे तो लॉटरी लग गई, तो तरीके से कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ते हैं। हाँ, लेकिन थोड़ी चीजें ऐसी हैं जैसे मैथ्स है, फॉर्मूलाज हैं, फाइनेंस के अंदर भी फॉर्मूलाज होते हैं, ज्योमेट्री और इसके अंदर तो आपको रट्टी मारना ही होता है, मे बी हिस्ट्री एज वेल। तो वो चीज मुझे
that's not important anymore. Like if you want to know a formula, it's readily available for you. Like आप गूगल पे कभी भी सर्च कर सकते हैं।
Yeah.
तो वो एक
लेकिन how is this education different? Like the system ऑस्ट्रेलिया और अमेरिका में, how is this different to
देखो
India?
मैं मतलब ये कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया में तो मैंने पढ़ा नहीं, लेकिन अभी बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं तो थोड़ा बहुत अंदाजा है। मैं समझता हूँ कि सिमिलर पैटर्न पे है सारे वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड की जितने एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, दे आर ऑन द सेम पैटर्न विद वेरी लिटिल डिफरेंस। चेंजेस इस तरह से ये है कि भाई लाइक आई सेड कि व्हेन वी वर डूइंग आवर मैनेजमेंट क्लास, यहाँ पर होता ये था कि हमको एक सिनेरियो दे देते कि जैसे कि एक वॉलमार्ट ले लिया, और कहते थे कि भाई ये है, इसके ऊपर एक ब्रीफ हिस्ट्री होती थी, उसके ऊपर एक ब्रीफ एजुकेशन होता था कि ये है, ऐसा है, वैसा है, ये प्रोक्योरमेंट ऐसा होता है, बाइंग द लैंड, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, मेन पॉइंट सारे डिस्कस कर देते थे। और फिर हमको बोलते थे कि कंपनी शुरू से लेके आखिरी तक बनाओ, तो यू हैड टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच, लाइक यू नो बाइंग द लैंड, उससे पहले क्या स्ट्रेटजीज होती है, क्या करना होता है, और मतलब ये कि उसमें क्या क्या फॉर्मेलिटीज होती है, लाइसेंसिंग है, ये सारी चीजें होती हैं, ये सारी चीजें हमको लिख कर बताना होता था और एक कंपनी फॉर्म करना होता था। तो ये देखिए आप कितना इंटरेस्टिंग हो गया ये चीज। अगर वही चीज अगर मैं रट्टी मार के अगर मैं लिखता तो फिर इसमें आपको लाइव वो भी प्रेजेंटेशन भी होते थे जिसमें आपको प्रोजेक्ट डालकर बताना होता था, तो बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल, बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग हो जाता था। तो मैं समझता हूँ इस तरह की पढ़ाई जो है वो बहुत बेनिफिशियल होती है। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू वुड हैव नोन एवरीथिंग बिकॉज यू बिल्ड दैट कंपनी बाय योरसेल्फ। तो ये पर्सपेक्टिव से
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग,
डेफिनेटली। तो ये सोच है, और अभी मैं समझता हूँ इंडिया में भी ये काम हो रहा है, बहुत सारे लोग ये लाइन में सोच रहे हैं और इस तरह से हो रहे हैं, और होना भी चाहिए।
Let's just hope. One thing I think India बहुत lack कर रहा है is languages.
What is it?
Languages ना.
Okay.
Like not everyone have to know 4 languages at the same time. Like Hindi, Telugu, हमारे वास्ते उर्दू और English.
I believe Ali के languages जो है ना वो the more you know the better it is. However, as you said in a less time perspective, I mean you are right in a way, but down the line if you know, so basically अगर ये आप पढ़ा रहे हैं स्कूल के अंदर तो languages पढ़ा रहे हैं तो इसलिए पढ़ाना चाहिए कि आप सीख सके एक नई लैंग्वेज, बट लेकिन सारा फोकस लैंग्वेज पे ना दे। rather than which there are people who are making careers in languages. Of course, they would want to pay. So मैं समझता हूँ कि concept based पढ़ाई होनी चाहिए कि भाई बच्चे का रुझान देख करके वो किस चीज में जाना चाहता है. एक आइडिया तो आ जाता है.
But these subjects for me were compulsory मैं जब इंडिया में पढ़ता था. These 4 subjects that I said. And आप जैसा बोले कि people who want to learn languages और उसके अंदर का career बनाना चाह रहे हैं, it should be optional for them, right? But I think 4 languages at the same time for
again at the same time, Ali, kids won't know a lot. Kids won't know a lot. You can't lead completely on kids to decide. So you have to, because you know what experience would they have, and their age is also. तो खैर कंसिडर करना पड़ता है. मैं समझता हूँ कि अभी देखिए आपके यहाँ पर again I'm not refuting with you, Ali. This is just discussion, and again as we discuss, this is going to be more casual, and then you will be debating. Sometimes it could be heated, argument also. I don't mind as long as they are in we have manners and we don't use abusive language or we don't किसी की दिल आजारी ना हो. But I encourage you guys to raise your voice and then refute and tell me that I'm wrong. That's fine. That's totally fine because that's how it should be. You can't be just sitting there to everything. If you think so, that's what I'm doing to Ali, to say that okay, all right, let me rephrase it. I can understand that you're coming from a background, but I think knowing a language is also very important. For example, like in America, Spanish is the second language. And if you were to become, I had seen, मैं एक lawyer को देखा था वहाँ पर, वो इतनी fluent Spanish बोल रहा था, और you can imagine कि उसका सारा जो courtroom था ना, उसमें सारे Spanish लोग बैठे, just because this guy, he was an English speaking guy, but he knew Spanish so well that everyone confided in him just because he knew the language, he would understand the problem and all that. Same thing applies in Australia. I think Chinese, Mandarin is the second language in Australia. So I would encourage my daughter or my son to know good Chinese so that they can converse with people and they can put it to use. They can become a translator, or they can teach that subject, or maybe if they're selling a product, they can go to that person and then start speaking in that language. And I think it's got a great advantage. So yeah, we'll go from that.
But more than that, I think there is also historic importance for a language, right? There's बहुत सारे languages वो हो जा रहे हैं, like they are extinct, they're becoming extinct. Especially like अपनी something like Telugu or Urdu, it could be really important because हमारे older generation were more like they had more expertise in the language than we do. Especially something like Telugu is like less and less people are learning now, especially हमारे communities में से. But obviously उसका historic background है, like it's a very old language, बहुत सारे centuries से बात कर रहे हैं. And now you just don't want to talking it anymore, right?
Right.
So that's gonna be gone. So how important is history for you? History of where you come from. That important.
Yeah. The phrase that came to my head while you guys were saying this is a man of many things but a master of none. So
what is it?
A man of many things.
The correct thing is I'll come back to it. It's a very common thing. I just want to thank now. So jack of all trades.
The irony was a
jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades.
Let me. I had something. I had a. That's fine. Totally. I want you to be natural. That's fine. That's what makes us human. So, anyways, I had like something like really interesting going on in my mind before the man started saying something about the man. Guys. Anyways, guys. So. Yeah. Anything else that you guys like to discuss that you think?
I think knowing more languages has no disadvantage, man. Like as long as you're interested in it, I think you should do it.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I remember something.
See how you said
really
as long as
before I forget, Ali. Hold on to that thought before I forget. I have recently met a guy in Hyderabad, and that guy was, and I saw him on Facebook, and he was like वो जो डिवोशनल सॉन्ग्स होते हैं ना तेलुगु में, वो गा रहा था वो अयप्पा स्वामी व्हाटएवर, वो डिवोशनल सॉन्ग गा रहा था और उसकी तेलुगु में गा रहा था वो with sitar and everything. And then he approached me for some reason, and since I have an ear for music, I was listening to it regardless of whatever it is. I was listening to it and he's like, oh, this guy is doing good. And then what I did, And then this guy actually contacted me on Facebook. So I was just listening, and then we started chatting. And then I said, where are you from and what do you do? And he said, I've done masters in Telugu music. I said, okay, great, that's fine. And then, I can sing this, I can sing that. And then he's kind of like famous guy, like, everyone. And he teaches music, Telugu music. So फिर मैं उससे पूछा कि भाई आप कहाँ से क्या है and all that. He said he's from Hyderabad. And then with his name and his look, he had a face which looked a bit like Yemeni, from Arab and all that. So I said, are you Chaush? And he said yes. And then he started sending me some photos, traditional photos with all that, they put some stuff or paint and all that. So I'm like, wow, man. So I said, how did you, you have an Arab background and you are from Hyderabad. How did you become a Telugu singing master? So he said it's all about your love, passion for languages and your passion for music. So he is literally sitting with people who are masters in Telugu and whatever, and then singing to them, and then they're clarifying their doubts and teaching them. So just look at the level of interest that they got. So yeah, when I was young, they said that it's an additional advantage for someone to know more languages. The reason being is that there could have been someone who had written something in that particular language, just for say in Telugu, and और कोई दूसरा उसको translate ना किया होगा. Maybe he is not famous or whatever. और आप जब the only way you can enlighten yourself with his thoughts and wisdom is by reading it through, and then when you go through wisdom, that's and then you might probably learn something new. And how else you were gonna learn that if you had not known that language? Yeah. Moving on. Any other subjects, guys? Any other thoughts? What about vision? Planning. How important is planning in anything? Any thoughts?
I think lately मेरे को ज़्यादा importance मालूम हो रहा planning का and scheduling का than before. Even though I did good, and I think sleep manage करना is very hard, right? क्योंकि अपन लोग ये age में तो बहुत neglect करते हो. But I think that जो भी time आप invest कर रहे हैं in sleeping and planning, it will show up like 10 साल 15 साल बाद में. You'll see the effect. You'll be different to a lot of your friends जो sleep को importance नहीं दिए, जो planning को importance नहीं दिए. Sleep is just one factor, right? आपके पूरे time management में. But yeah, I think planning is very good. The earlier you realize the importance of it, the better off you will be in the long run.
Right. I think planning is important in every aspect of your life. Now, people who make sporadic decisions, like, just jump up and then do things, I think they're losing a lot. Now, just that I had a couple of friends who were recently going to India, and one guy had just assumed that, okay, just going to India, he's just going to India, like all this. And then he just went and he had some issues when it comes to some new things have come up since COVID came in. There was some forms that needed to be filled in. So he went through a lot of trouble at that time, and he was glad that he had his laptop on so that he could do it online, get it printed and save it and all that. But that's because of lack of planning that the guy had suffered and had almost lost his flight. Now, there was another guy who believes in planning, and then he said that he actually went with a big file. So he had done all his research, he went in, looked in what the new requirements, and then went along, and then what are the COVID requirements, vaccinations, everything, and then he did everything by plan. And then he saved a lot of time, and then peace of mind. So that's just like a simple example that I can pick up from our day-to-day life, just to explain this. Now, there are a couple of things.
I think the key is... sorry. What are you saying?
Go ahead.
Now, I think the key is moderation, हर चीज में. Whether it be someone who is planning or someone who is like very impulsive about and want to ensure everything is
sometimes
out of order.
You don't have an option. Sometimes you just have to go by your impulse. There is always, and again, a man can always plan. At the end of the day, Allah has His own plan. But again, as you said, I totally agree with you that there has to be a balance. Balance होना ज़रूरी है ये दो चीज़ों में. That's a very.
I don't think anybody disagrees. Right, planning is bad, right? Like universal
No,
truth
no.
है कि planning is good for everyone. But when do you start taking it seriously?
Okay,
What
what he's
age?
trying to say, Ali, what he's trying to say,
Yeah, that's actually a very
is
good
that
thing.
I think what he's trying to say is that how he said that the second point, like planning, balance की जो बात हो रही है ना, कभी कभार होता है कि too much planning also spoils. Like you plan,
Yeah.
and then you're missing the benefits of the decisions that you take by impulse. Like जो कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि आपके जो पहला thought आता है just go by it. And then things turn around. So wo perspective. I think am I right, Ali? Am I going on the same right path?
I think Shoaib का जो था ना, planning is actually very good, but the only contradiction I might have with it कि हर चीज जो है ना वो age के हिसाब से अच्छी दिखती है. Like for example, everyone should be acting their age. I think that's what I'm saying. Like if Shadi is being well planned and organized, you're just not going to look nice. A kid of that age should behave like a kid of that age. So I think Shoaib was just saying when
I
is it
don't know if I totally agree with
important
that.
to start planning?
I don't know where Ali's coming from, but I'm pretty sure you have well reasons to think it that way. Like, okay, let me tell you this. Okay, by the way, you guys are talking about Sahil, which is my son, who is 11 years old. So just to give you an introduction. Okay. Now the thing is, with planning can be anything. Like if a boy gets up early in the morning, he's planning because he's planned it. सोने से पहले अगर अपना यूनिफॉर्म धो के अगर रखा या उसको सुखा के या जो भी है साइड में इस्त्री करके जो भी है, हम जस्ट गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, और अपने बुक साइड में रख दिया, अपनी बैग साइड में रख दिया और शूज निकाल दिया, होमवर्क कर दिया. That's all fun. So I don't know if it has to do anything to do with age. I don't know. I disagree with you on that. I beg to differ on that.
Yes. So I
What I
think
meant by that is well planned. Like obviously,
Planning is fun.
his
Well,
life. ये जो
I think when we're talking about planning, Ali is going on the extreme end of planning, like
Yeah.
having every single thing writing, like
Done.
in writing.
Guys, how important is vision? Vision होना चाहिए या would you rather be Alice in Wonderland?
I think it's very subjective.
I think that's what we're talking about in a way, like planning. Like so as long as you have a vision and you want to hit it, right? I think planning is the key. Because if you don't have a plan, how you gonna execute it?
Right.
Like aim ही नहीं है. Like you have to aim at something to shoot at it, right?
Right. Definitely. Guys, there are so many things, multiple things that we can talk about. आज तो हमारा पहला एपिसोड था, हमारा पहला पॉडकास्ट बोल सकते हैं. तो हम लोगों ने बहुत सारी चीजें डिस्कस की. There are like many other topics, and then I would like to invite more people so that we have like more brains to talk about different things, different experience. We can share our experiences. अभी तो
hopefully we can upgrade our equipment as well, right? Like we can have like a nice lighting, nice headphones and stuff like that.
जब तक ये चीज बाहर नहीं है, अपने को मालूम नहीं होता कि अपनी क्वालिटी एक्चुअली क्या लेवल पे थी, especially how our voices sound.
Exactly right, man.
Because अब अपने को बहुत अलग दिख रहा, but I'm sure audio के through जाने
No, we can edit it.
We'll get better at it with time, obviously.
Definitely, as things go well, but what is more important is the things that we're discussing. You never know, अगर किसी को हमारी बात समझ में आ जाए और they can take benefit from it. That's most important. Now I remember like एक हमारे Rabbits के ऊपर एक दुकान है, I know, इनक की दुकान. So the guy had like वो जो उसकी जो शॉप थी was this elderly person. उसकी जो शॉप थी वो बहुत ही मतलब ये कि बहुत सीधा पुराने जमाने की, यहाँ पर चीजें पड़े हुए, वहाँ पर पड़े हुए. But I would go to him, and then अगर आप उसके पास एक ऐनक लेकर जाओ तो वो करता ये था कि भाई ये ऐनक काम नहीं कर रही, give me another glasses. You know what he will do? He will bring his toolbox and he will fix it up. He will do something to it, fix it up. He was such a good मतलब ये कि ऐनक बनाने में इतना महारत थी उसको. Obviously he was an old man. He knew everything. He will fix it up quickly and give it to you. And then you would ask like, he fixed my glasses and I said how much? He said $5. I said okay, fine, thank you. And those glasses were like, good as new. So like maybe the next time I visited India, I went and then I saw like there was a big showroom, flash flashy lights, everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, what happened to that shop? And then I looked at it. I'm like, okay, this is the one. I remember the name. And then I went in, and there was these two young lads sitting there. And then I said, what happened to the elderly man? And then he said, no, he died. He passed away. We are his son. Well, okay.
Oh, that's sad.
Okay, so yeah, that's sad. So I said, okay, guys, I have some issues with my glasses. Could you guys fix it? And they're like, what do you mean fix it? No. It's gonna take, it cannot be fixed. I just need to give you new glasses. I said, agar aap banane baithe to it will be more expensive. I said, what do you mean? The other guy did. He's like, हाँ वो हमारे वाले सब ऐसे ही थे. उनका ये मानना था कि भाई अगर कोई चीज बन सकती है तो फिर उसको क्यों? But no, we have done a lot of investment here. We don't. Our way of thinking is different. So yeah, you're gonna have. So I had to spend 1,700 rupees to get the same thing. So where is 5 rupees and where is 1,700? So we just talked about like 5 years down the line.
What's the time gap?
Values.
Okay, that was our next thing that we wanted to discuss. I don't know how long we've been online. We don't want to be obvious too long.
I think you can see that. Only you can see that.
I would get used to it. I don't know where to look at it, but yeah, I had the general idea of it. When I sent you the link, it was about 8:45. I think it's about 9:45 now. So we've been online, we've been on air for like maybe an hour now. But there are like hundreds and hundreds of topics that we would like to discuss. We would like to invite people from different areas, different perspectives, people who know, people who are in authority, who have power. They would like to come, and then in any way they can aid us in passing on general information. I would like people to come and see that, okay, here it is. I want you to approach me if you are in such and such. Because I think there is a lot of vacuum of information when it comes to a lot of things that people want to do. I think people want to know.
Is this going on YouTube? Like YouTube upload on
This will I will upload it on YouTube.
So we can have a link where people can like reach out to us, like if they want to join in.
Yeah, if they want to have discussions.
If they want to leave any comments.
Definitely. I think
any questions.
I'm not gonna disable anything. But the intention of me coming online is just that it's first of all, like I said, it's a hobby. It's something that gives meaning to your life. Like you just get up in the morning, go to work, earn money, buy groceries. Apart from that, you need to have a meaning to your life. कुछ ऐसा हो आपकी जिंदगी में, आपको कोई मकसद हो. और अल्लाह ताला ने ऐसी किसी को बस पैदा नहीं कर दिया, बस हर किसी के साथ एक मकसद जुड़ा हुआ है. तो might as well just use it and just do something. अगर कुछ होता है तो ठीक है, वरना कोई बात नहीं. मैं चाहता हूँ कि मैं ये सोचा कि भाई चलो एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म हो जहाँ पर हम मिलें, हम बात करें, डिफरेंट मुख्तलिफ दिमाग के लोग ज्वाइन हो हमारे साथ. जैसे मैंने अपने चैनल के ऊपर एक वो भी बनाया है ना, डिस्क्रिप्शन भी लिखा हुआ, उसमें मैंने बिल्कुल जेनेरिक बनाया कि उसमें आप म्यूजिक, just come and talk about music. We can talk about shayars and people who wrote those. We can discuss their history at the same time, play their music. We can talk about Urdu adab or English literature. We have touched base on many things today, such as languages. We discussed of languages, cultural values. There is another chapter, topic that we would like to discuss, that we didn't get a chance to discuss, which was about cultural values, perception back home, difference, and then we can create more awareness about our own society here in Australia to people, and then join as a connection between two cultures. Especially when it comes to our own people who speak our language and share our culture. So yeah, I think it's a great effort, and we will definitely upload it on YouTube and let other people view it, put their comments, recommendations. Obviously, guys, I'm all of us again are interested in monetizing this at this stage, or our main focus is to just do our things.
Oh man, we are very far ahead of starting to monetize anything.
No. I'm just saying, there are a lot of people on stage these days, and their whole purpose is to. And there is nothing wrong with it. It's just like the online social media has created a big opportunity.
I'm hoping for 2 views on a podcast with 3 people. So
I'll be happy.
I'll be
complete views, I'll be happy.
I'm just saying that's not the purpose. It's just we want to have a platform wherein we can have that nice. You were trying to say something, Shad.
No. It's just, I think one more thing, if I could add, right? I think this helps me, like talking and listening, so I can reflect back on what I do, how I talk, how I think. So
it's like, how you're practicing on mirror?
Yeah.
You're practicing your interview questions on the mirror.
Yeah, like this is like a communication between three people about like some really good topics, which I can listen back to, reflect on, and so देख सकता हूँ like how I think, which is like the most important thing. Yeah. Because how you think is what you do, right?
Definitely.
This is more for me than anybody else, but I'm happy to keep doing this, man. This is fun.
This is.
हाँ, और आपके जो thoughts है वो नहीं usually बहुत limited रहते हैं आपके work के around या फिर आपके अतराफ में जो भी हो रहा है आपके घर के around या फिर आप जहाँ पे भी अपने दोस्तों से मिल कर रहे हैं. When you talk like this, where you can talk about anything, basically आपके perspective और आपकी thinking on a day-to-day basis वो change होते हैं, which is I think very important for people to change.
Definitely.
Because then you're living and growing.
Sure. Now, one thing is that होता ये कि अगर किसी चीज के बारे में सोचते हैं तो आप अपने दिमाग को सोचने पर आमादा कर रहे हैं. कहने के we could have spoken about vision 100 times in our life, 1,000 times in our life, but we never had a chance. We might not have had a chance to sit and think about it. When Ali is talking about it, Shoaib is thinking about it. So we basically started a thought process. About exercise. So yeah, definitely. So it's like a beautiful mind exercise. Like thinking about concepts, thinking about यहाँ से busy life के अंदर we don't get a lot of time to think about concepts. So we raise intelligent, wise concepts, and then we make people to think about it. So we could be discussing something that is right there. जैसे आप किचन में जाते हैं, आपकी हल्दी वहीं पड़ी होती है, नमक वहीं पड़ा होता है, लेकिन आपको दिखता नहीं. So there are a lot of concepts around you, but you never had a chance to focus on it. So that's a good. Also, especially like in today's world, जहाँ पे like when you're going through reels on your Instagram, right? Like you're thinking about cooking videos for 9 seconds, and then you move on to MMA fights, and then you move on to some American thing. So there's like a lot of things that you're thinking about, but for a very short time. So this like podcast में बात करना, I think we are forced to think about one topic like in depth for a longer period of time, which is I think as a good balance to our day-to-day routine.
Definitely. Especially when becoming like so anti-social, और अपना जैसे शोएब भाई बोल रहे थे, the exact term is attention span. वो इतना ज़्यादा कम है कि 10 seconds से ज़्यादा आप एक वीडियो देखने के बाद you get bored and you're not even capable of like choosing the next video. Reels आपको suggest करा कि अब ये देखो आप बोल. जी, सही बात. So this is like going to be very helpful. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. अभी थोड़ी देर पहले Zoom से एक मुझे वो आया था. Usually it's like 40 minutes limit on our meetings. पर अभी एक आया था कि gift है. You can continue the recording as long as you want to, but I don't think.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't think.
Thank you, Zoom.
Thank you, Zoom. Thank you for the gift.
This video is sponsored by Zoom.
Yeah, I just had like a pop-up message to say that. Oh, you got a gift from Zoom. You can continue this for as long as you want.
I'm actually sponsored by Zoom now. Like because Zoom अपने को extra time दे रहा for recording. So this is. Yeah.
Yes, I think maybe because of this. Yeah. Guys, this has been like really interesting. We have many other topics that we would like to discuss. Sometimes we could talk about astronomy. We can talk about science and many other things that are still to come that we would like to focus on as we go. But what do you think? So we should finish it now, this discussion?
Yeah, good time, man. I think
just stop the recording and we can debrief for like 5 minutes.
Sure, no worries. Thank you. Let me stop it.
Bye.